Hello, learners. Welcome back to our educational channel Learn and Educate, and let us continue with our legal stream. We were studying about Code of Civil Procedure 1908. Previously, in the past 3 to 4 lectures, videos, we have learned about definitions specified in section 2. Now, continue with that. Section 3, Subordination of Courts under Code of Civil Procedure 1908. Section 3 of Civil Procedure Act states that for the purpose of this code, the district court is subordinate to the high court. The district court will be subordinate to the high court. Let us further. And every civil court of a grade inferior to that of a district court. A civil court which is inferior in terms of grade to a district court will be subordinate to that particular district court. Therefore, a civil court which is inferior in terms of a grade to that district court will be subordinate court to that particular district court, and every court of small causes is subordinate to the high court and district court. Therefore, court of small causes will be subordinate not only to the high court but also to the district court. Section 4, savings under Code of Civil Procedure 1908. Savings means first, in the absence of any specific provisions to the contrary, nothing in this code shall be deemed to limit or otherwise affect any special or local law now in force or any special jurisdictions or power conferred or any special form of procedure prescribed by or under any other law for the time being in force. It would be described as in the absence of any special provisions. To the contrary, in this code, nothing in this code shall be deemed to limit, nothing in this code shall outpower the application of any special or local law which is now in force or any special jurisdiction or a power which is conferred or any special form of procedure prescribed under that special act or a special jurisdiction in terms of that a procedure prescribed will be in a particular act will be applicable to that particular area or that special jurisdiction only, or any other law for the time being in force established therefore will not be overpowered by CPC, which means that CPC will not be applicable to that particular provisions or to that particular law which is applicable in force. Subsection 2, in particular and without the prejudice to the generality of the propositions contained in subsection 1, which was read earlier, nothing in this code shall be deemed to limit or otherwise affect any remedy which a landholder or a landlord may have under any law for the time being in force for the recovery of the rent of agricultural land for the procedure of such land, which means that for the landholder or landlord, any particular law for the time being in force which is applicable for the recovery of rent of agricultural land from the produce of applicable the rent of the agricultural land which produces agricultural products. So it will not be applicable without vigilance to the general provisions contained in subsection 1. Nothing in this code shall be deemed to limit that particular provisions also which are applicable, which will affect the powers of the landholder or the landlord for the agricultural land related to rents of the land. And therefore, section 4 savings wants to say that code of CPC will not limit the powers of a special law, local law, which is applicable in force for a special jurisdiction or power conferred by a special form of procedures prescribed under any law for the time being in force, and a CPC shall not limit the powers of that particular law which is applicable to the landlord and the landholder relating to recovery of the rents of agricultural land for produce of such land. Section 5, application of the code to revenue codes. What is revenue code will be understood in subsection 2, but see what is the application of the code CPC to revenue codes. When the revenue code are governed by the provisions of this code in those matters to procedure upon which any special enactment applicable to them is silent, then the state government may. When the revenue codes are governed by the special provisions of this code, and in those matter the special enactment applicable is silent, then The government may by notification in the official gazette, the state government may by notification in the official gazette declare any propositions to those provisions which are not explicitly made applicable by this code shall not apply to those codes. It shall not apply to those codes also, to the revenue codes also, and shall only apply to them with such modifications as the state government may prescribe, which means that in case of a special enactment is silent for a particular procedure to be followed in the revenue codes, and and there is a provision in the CPC 1908 for that particular procedure to be used applied in the revenue codes, then the state government will modify them and will prescribe that these parts of the particular CPC will be applicable to revenue code, or it may declare that it shall not apply to those codes to the revenue codes. Have you understood? State government can prescribe with certain modifications that yes, that part is applicable to revenue code, or state government say that it will not be applicable. In a subsection 2, revenue code means, as in subsection 1, means a court having a jurisdiction under any local law to entertain suits or other proceedings relating to the rent, revenue, profits of land used for agricultural purposes, but does not include a civil court which is having a original jurisdictions. Therefore, a civil court having a original jurisdiction under the CPC to try suit or or proceedings of the civil nature will not be included in the revenue code. Revenue code only includes the courts which entertain the suits or proceedings relating to the rents, revenue, profits of the land used for the agricultural purpose. Therefore, we have seen the same provisions in the section 4, subsection 2 also, particular landlord recovery of rent, and the same provision is given. More broader provision has been given, which will enlighten us and would further bifurcate what exactly subsection 4 subsection 2 and section 5 subsection 2 wants to say. Revenue court means a court which has the power or which can entertain the suits or proceedings relating to the rent revenue profits of the land used for the agricultural purposes, and it will not include the civil court having original jurisdiction under this code to try any suit or proceedings of being of suits proceeding of civil nature. Section 6, pecuniary courts, pecuniary jurisdictions. Pecuniary jurisdictions, save insofar is otherwise expressly provided, the thing herein contained shall operate to give any court jurisdiction over suits the amounts, the value, or the subject matter which exceeds the pecuniary limit of its original jurisdiction, which means that in this hereinafter contained that court having the jurisdiction over a suit which it can punish or it can say any amount, the the subject matter of the case, which is the money related, and the amount prescribed shall not exceed, for example 5 lakh, 10 lakh. That limit prescribed is a pecuniary limits for the ordinary jurisdiction of that civil court of that court. It is what is pecuniary jurisdiction. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, and share it, and tune into the video.